Welcome to Not a Great Whisper podcast. This is your host, Katy Ray. I am joined with the wonderful, badass Jessica Hurley today. Thanks for making it.
Thanks for having me.
So we're going to talk about all the things, but I know you're in like this new, the stranded phase went from rich in real life. So I think that's like a huge thing we'll definitely tackle. But just kind of talking about who you are and what season you're in really right now.
Okay, first and foremost, I have to give you credit for this title. I can't stop laughing in my head because I'm like, this is literally me. Like I can't whisper when. I could never.
And one of my coworkers, I was saying something, he's like, gosh, you're not a great whisperer. And we looked at each other, we're like, podcast name.
Yep. Yeah, those are the best.
I'm not a great whisperer.
It's not happening. At all. No. Well, thanks for having me. And just, there's a million things I could say, but if I go by all the titles, host of a podcast that used to be called The Stranded Phase, 4.5 years. And now we're transitioning to Rich in Real Life because that is where my life has gone. And I can no longer identify with the story. I spent a good portion of my life embracing the stuck as the lessons, and it doesn't mean the lessons won't stop. But I have really gathered a toolbox of tools to me that have taught me what peace, happiness, and a fulfilled soul looks like. And I want all of those things. And so to me, that is what Rich in Real Life is going to be. So host of Rich in Real Life coming September 2022. I'm so excited. Founder of Instapodcasts, which is a podcast and media agency. And we really specialize right now in content libraries, video production, and just the badassery side of like giving you all the feels through a show. And that's like I can't believe I get to do this for a living. It is my favorite part, like coming up with bomb ass trailers that give you all the feels and that really meet people where they are, wherever they are. And I'm the co-founder of Innovative Income, which is a woman's, it's really, I don't know what, it's
like
what?
Gathering to just get fucking hype.
It is women's empowerment event to me is just like such a shady name for what I actually think it is. And everyone is always like, there's nothing else like this. And I can't explain it, but it is not a women's empowerment event. Yeah.
It's more just like, let's get you to the next level, right?
Yep.
So with Instapodcast, how big has your team grown? How many years have you been doing it, and how big has your team grown?
Oh my gosh. I was just on a podcast yesterday, and I talked about how I am not one of those people that like always has a plan. I'm constantly an entrepreneur by accident.
Yeah.
And so now we have 10 team members, and
and freelance too, because if you're like for videography and everything, or are they on full time?
No. So I have not gone full time with the videographers yet. I partner. I actually have like what I consider like a small, medium, and a large level, or a low, middle, and high level of production. And it's really up to the creator that I'm working with on what level they want. And I have now, when I work with them, or what people would call a sales call, but to me, it's a creative content strategy call. And we get on the call and I'm like, do you want this? Do you want this? Or do you want this? And you have a choice. And like, how good do you want this to look? And if you do this at home, this is probably what it's going to look like. And they're like, oh, I want this. And I'm like, okay, this is what you're looking at from the this is what you're looking at from a cost side, a budget side, and like where we're going with this. And some of the things you're telling me that you want, we may not be able to do at this level, but we could have this. And so all my videographers are partners, thank goodness. I love working with them. I've created incredible relationships.
It's hard to pick one, right?
Oh, it's so hard. I can't marry one. I have commitment issues. Can't marry.
We'll also get into that.
So completely cannot marry a videographer. And then I have the most incredible team. And again, like, I have a master's degree, but I've literally never looked at myself as like an incredible culture creator, or when it comes to like leading a team, I've never looked at myself as a great entrepreneur, but I've definitely learned through what I call the ass whooping process.
Yes.
And I've had my team, majority of the people on my team have been there 2 years or more. And now everyone that comes in on our team are typically even referral based.
Yeah, of course.
So I don't even go hunting for people. It's when I'm like, I'm looking for this, and I let my team members refer their friends or their classmates or whomever. And we've just got some of the most incredible editors. My project manager is a powerhouse. I don't know if anyone's ever done the disc profile, but her and I are a perfect marriage. I'm a high I, she's a SC. Like, we are the perfect marriage. And so she does, she is my right hand. She's everything that I cannot be, because, us, I don't know about you, but I'm an I. And so
I'm an ID. Yeah, I know.
We jump out of the plane and we figure it out on the way down, and we'll sell everyone on the parachute that we don't have to get to the bottom, but we'll figure it out before we hit the ground. So don't worry.
So you need her to keep
I need her to keep me stable and the word is compliant, but to me, it's just organized and task oriented and like actually get us to the end. Because I'll start the thing. It gets to a point now where when I get on a call with her, I'm like, so I had this vision, and she's like, hold on, let me pull up my task list. I'm like,
I have another idea.
And I record all of my content strategy calls, like the first call I do with a potential client. And she made me record them now because she goes through them every single call. Because she's like, you will tell me that we need to do 2 things, and I'll watch the call, and it was actually 5 things. And she's like,
how perfect is that relationship, though?
It's incredible.
Oh, see, yeah. And how did you meet her? Just applied?
Oh, she came on part-time as a show notes writer for me 2 years ago. And then I ended up abruptly losing. And let me tell you something about entrepreneurship. This should be the most relatable thing if someone's listening. Entrepreneurship is not taking no. We don't believe in no. It's just find another way. And then when shit hits the fan, your muscle just gets stronger.
Yeah.
And so like, I think I actually got her by accident. She was a part-time show notes writer in school. And my project manager at the time had a really abrupt situation happen and had to kind of disappear for 3 weeks. And it was like, hire someone, take over this role, which you're really bad at, or have a team member step up to the plate. And I just kind of presented the position. And I was like, who can fill this gap for a moment? And she jumped in and she killed it for 3 weeks.
How
and I was
awesome.
like, oh, we're making this move.
That's so
We're
cool.
adjusting. So,
and I just jumped into entrepreneurship. I started my own company. So I feel that. It's super important. But it's super important to have, like, my partner is my SC.
Exactly.
So it's like keeping us level, keeping us, always a strategy, lays out a blueprint. I'm like, thank you. That's my head. Thank you so much.
Yes. And we're being super vague here. So I don't know if you've ever talked about it, but this is the DISC profile.
Yeah,
if anyone's listening, go check this out. It may cost online to take.
I actually don't think it doesn't. Yeah, it might now.
I think you have to know someone that's certified because you really do need someone certified to explain
Company
to
or
you
something to do,
what the hell all this means.
It's
but once
awesome,
you understand it, it's such a great marriage.
There's a bunch out there that are pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
But okay, so you got your master's. What is your master's in? I love asking. What did you pay off a loan for?
Literally, who did I give money to?
What label did you get there that you haven't used at all?
That's exactly. Yep, exactly. It's a what the fuck is it?
What the fuck is my master's?
It's a master's degree in business administration with a focus in nonprofit management.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I mean, business management.
I mean, I'm just getting to profitability, so technically I'm managing a nonprofit.
Yes, so you have been doing everything that you signed up for.
Correct.
Awesome. That's perfect. Correct. And I love, you can tell you also like host a podcast and work with people because you're like, also anybody listening, there's DISC profiles.
Because I
love that you're right.
As a creative behind several podcasts, because my goal was always a chart topping podcast, and then I realized God was like, take this gift and do it for other people.
Yeah.
And now I've had so many chart topping podcasts, so there's been almost 20, and I realized my gift is to play audience.
Yeah.
So like when people are telling me their idea, I'm like, that's great. If someone pressed play on this and didn't know you from Sam tomorrow, they wouldn't know what the fuck you were talking about.
Right.
So let's dumb this down, but also make sure it doesn't sound like you're reading a book. So there's so many ways to do podcasting, and I just always think people don't reference their audience enough. It is cool to have a raw conversation, 100%, but teach your audience along the way. They can't quite always jump on the horse as fast as we talk faster than we think.
Oh my gosh, we talk so fast.
Yeah.
But I do love that. You're right. We're having a raw conversation right now, but what are we learning from it?
Correct.
And yours is that you jump out of planes with
clearly
often, but you have a good support system around you to make sure to get you back on your way. What do you think is the greatest thing you've learned from this stranded phase to rich in real life? One of the greatest things. And rich in real life, I want to explain too, is I'm thinking you're saying rich in health and mind and body. And
to me, I want to be rich in
and also you can do
community.
Videos with money shooting money guns as well. But also just life in general.
To me, literally, I don't even think about money when I say it.
Yeah.
I literally think.
Some will be like rich in real life. Okay. So you're making, so money guns. Yes. But you're saying like rich as in abundant.
Rich in spirit, rich in community, rich in connection, rich in opportunity, rich. And then in being rich in all these things, being rich in peace and happiness and like soul fulfillment and just like, Oh my God. Like I spent all of 2021. I literally did not pay a dime to a business expert. I spent all of 2021 paying healers. I fired all my business coaches, and literally one of the men I had 2 high performance business coaches, and one of them said, you're getting rid of your partner who helped you build this business at the time, who was my ex, and you're getting rid of me. So you're getting rid of 2 men that have helped you along the way. I don't know how you think you're going to do this. And the Aries in me was like,
oh,
bitch, you better watch.
Bitch.
I was like, you better watch.
Oh, hell no.
And I spent all that money on healers last year. And what I learned from it is, I would spend all this money. It's like, what'd you learn? And it's going to be like this big. Yeah. That none of this shit matters. None of this shit matters. Like to be immaculately present, to savor every moment, to practice gratitude, to like how powerful presence is and how in love with life we can be, and how every situation we've ever been in, we've been able to get out of, yet we let every single one control us and take us down via the circumstance, even though we've proven to ourselves time and time again, we know how to get out of it. So it's like life is lifing. And I am still, no matter how fast things are happening. And I originally was going to do a live, this is so funny where this idea came from. I originally was going to do a live podcast show for my birthday. And the theme I wanted it to be was rich in real life. And I remember in my mind, it was so clear, but it got crystal clear when I tried to explain it to somebody, because I was like, I want to do a podcast or a live podcast, and I want the theme to be called Rich in Real Life. And I'm going to invite this person and this person and this person. I started naming all the people, and they were like, well, yeah, but that person's not really that rich. And like, this person's not like, when I think of rich, I don't think of her. Like, and I was like, what? No. I was like, no, I want to bring this person because she made $2 million and then turned around and told me that she was the unhappiest she'd ever been after she hit this pinnacle. Like, I want to bring this person on because I want to talk about how after they made all this money, they went and did something that they loved with the money instead of building another business. Like, I want to talk about how these things that we are chasing do not mean shit. Because, and the biggest part was I was in Miami and I was trying to think of content, and it was like end of May. End of May, I was in Miami in a hotel, spending the night to be on a show the next day. Shout out to Triggered AF. And I was trying to think of content. So let's be clear. I help people strategize content for their shows in batch, 24 episodes at a time, for That's over awesome. 40 shows. I have ideas out of ideas. I literally cannot run out of ideas. I can be inspired by anything. And I'm sitting in this hotel room and I'm like, is something wrong with me? Like, I can't think of shit. I don't know what's going on. Like, why can't I think of anything? And I'm crying on the balcony because I'm like having this moment of like, maybe my job is to just produce shows and I got to let mine go. And I'm like, but I love my show. It's my thing. And I'm like, maybe like I'm literally having this like grieving moment about I'm about to have to let this thing go because it doesn't feel right anymore. And then I went to sleep. I just slept on it. And I woke up the next morning and I was like, wait a minute. And here was the lesson. I can't come up with any more content because I can't beat this horse anymore. I have talked about when I started that show, it was where I was and it was where I knew many people were. And it's where many people listening might be right now. But I personally cannot own being there anymore. I'm not stranded anymore. It was all about embracing your most stuck moments, whether it be in finance, career, building a business, relationships, love, lack of, your whatever it was, that embracing that moment is not trying to run from it, but being willing to sit in it as one of the toughest lessons of your life and maybe one of the most necessary. And we try to run from it when we're supposed to sit in it. And so I got people on the show and I didn't want to talk about their accolades. I said, tell me about the time you're crying in the car. That's what I want to know. When you couldn't pay your staff. That's what I want to talk about. And I can't come up with any more content because your girl isn't stranded anymore. And I was like, it doesn't align anymore. It's not who I am anymore. Like I'm living a life, whether I can tell or feel it or not, but I hear it, people will have to check me a lot and they'll be like, yo, you're where you dreamed of. So like,
get out of it.
You're not there anymore. So now the lesson is I was identifying with a story that was no longer mine. I was almost choosing to continue to live there when it wasn't where I was anymore.
I love that. And you always give yourself that time, right? Like you slept on. I love that you knew that your bracelet was making him.
I was like, that's way too much. Way too much going on.
But I think that's super powerful for people. You couldn't resonate with that anymore. You've gone through your grieving cycles. You've gone through your stranded phase. You've gone through loss and you are moved on and you've healed. You've done all the work. You have gotten there. And of course, you're going to still have bad days and all that shit. I mean, that's normal. But you are at a place where you are feeling it all. You're not stranded.
I'm not stranded.
Like you're in it and you're loving it.
Everything that I was chasing is here now.
Yeah.
And then when all roads lead to red, like exit, I was like, I'm boxing myself in. And to me, I don't know about y'all. If y'all like, shout out to you if you are as hard-headed as I am. I am hard-headed. Like in my mind, it's like, I'm like, God, give me a sign that it's over.
Yeah.
And God literally hits me over the head. And I'm like, oh, that wasn't for me. That was something else. And like,
you didn't mean to hit me.
and he's like, okay, I'll pull the rug right out from under you. And then I'll have someone tell you through a channel that you could best understand. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, not right now. Like I have to be like whooped into shape. And so I've started to just kind of develop the vision or the muscle of like, okay, that's very clear. And it's your responsibility to see or understand what time it is or what phase you're in or what this peak, this preview, this vision is yours. It's just a matter of whether or not you choose to embark or take it or believe in yourself enough to get there. And so as soon as I woke up on it, I was like, yeah, I'm done. It's not who I am anymore. And I'm choosing to I have so many people that have followed me for the last 4 years through that journey because I stayed consistent. They ain't stuck no more.
Yeah.
So
right?
I'm like, we done.
4 years. We're moving on.
We're done. Like we're moving on. And I invite somebody listening to really embrace the fact that like the evolution may already be in your space and you're just choosing not to take it.
Yep.
So the evolution was in front of me the whole time. I'm not even this person anymore. I live different. I operate different. I move through things differently, financially, business, and personally.
Yeah. Then in 4 years, you might be saying, I'm different now. It's just like how life works. And we always are like chasing that. And then when we're there, we're like, oh, wait, we made it.
If the brand is you, the evolution is you as well.
Yeah.
And so take people on that journey with you.
You're not here anymore either. You're telling her, you're like, what the hell? Y'all know we've grown.
Why are we still sitting here?
Grown. Why are we still stranded?
Let's get up and go. What are we doing here?
We're not stranded anymore. Oh my gosh. That's really, I think the healing piece of your journey of 2021 is really important for people to realize. Like, you can get those business coaches or this and that. That's right. But what are you doing for yourself to really get there? Like, okay, you hit that one business goal. All right, cool. Are you feeling fulfilled? No, you're not fucking feeling fulfilled. What have you done for yourself? And I don't think people realize that. Like, the healers are out there and they are helping. Like,
oh my God.
Like, fuck. So the Rich in Real Life part is now a podcast, not just a theme episode. And I mean, it has to feel really good to finally make that decision. When's the release of it?
Mid-September 2022.
Okay, so this will be launched after this. So I'm gonna be super hyped. We're gonna have to do another episode. But what is your main goal for that?
Oh, it's so funny you asked that. I've gotten so over being a chart-topping podcast, or that's like my bet. I posted about this one time. There's a lot of things I've done. That is my best piece of artwork. That is like my best masterpiece. Is like, it is my ongoing diary. It is the way that I communicate with people the best. And so to me, it's like, I don't even ever see myself, like I cried that night because I was like, I don't want to stop.
Yeah.
Like,
this is a part of it.
I love this. And like, people don't really know this. And I may be TMIing the hell out of myself right now, but I still don't make a dime from my show. Like I tried sponsorships for a while. I teach people how to get sponsorships for a living, but it never felt authentic because it is such a Dear Diary concept for me. I have a lot more guests now, but
your network has grown so tremendously.
And my network has grown so much. So I'm like, I can't not have you on the show. You're dope as hell. Like my people, because immediately when I meet someone, I'm like, oh my God, I want to go tell my friends about you. And my friends are my listeners. So I'm like, y'all listen. I gotta show y'all somebody, and it's my greatest piece of artwork. It is the thing I've stayed the most consistent with. And I think, people get obsessed with a result or an outcome, and that leads them away from the thing that they're doing, even if and when it makes them happy. Yeah. And that is something that I'm gonna say it this way. I don't give a shit what happens with that show. That show built our entire Innovative Income audience. That show has helped so many women. I have had women come to me that I'm friends with now that said that it took them out of a depression. And it was just literally me being authentic. And I know that's not for everyone. I know I'm not the best at it. I know it's something I'm going to teach other people to do. But if there's a couple thousand people, I mean, we do anywhere between 10 and 20,000 downloads a month. If there's 10,000
awesome.
people listening.
Yeah.
That's all I give a shit about.
Yeah.
I don't care about chart topping. I don't care about being well known for it at this point. If somebody can go press play and feel heard, understood, and seen, which is women's ultimate
goal,
our primitive goal in our soul is we just want to be seen, heard, and understood. Cool.
I mean, now that you're at this just high fucking vibration, basically, what do you see for yourself too in relationship wise? Like, have you seen just a different energy attracting to you?
Like, you mean like partnership type?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
Like total different, right? Isn't it crazy to watch that shit? Like, you're just
First
like,
of all.
okay, what was up before? But you're also a mom, right? So you're
Yes.
juggling all of that.
Yeah.
Kindergartner.
Yes.
It's a huge moment.
Oh my God.
But you're also juggling that. So like you're taking on your own feelings as well as your son. So, but what have you noticed like difference wise? Does it kind of like make you laugh
It makes me,
or cry?
there's so many things. Like there's times where I'm talking to people that I used to deal with and I'm like,
Really?
where the hell was I? Like, what happened here? Like, did you act like that then? Cause I'm not really sure how I missed that. Like,
Did you act like that then? Because was I drunk? I was drunk.
How did I choose you?
So I was drunk the entire
How did I
time.
do that?
Got it.
And not to play the blame game because I attracted what I was ready for in that time. And in that time, I was still a very lost soul. Like just, oh my God, all those wounds, they are the lens in which we live our life through, right? And there's so many things that I discovered in myself on my healing journey about the victimization map that I wear because of my mother and oh my God, what was the other thing? It was really crazy. Oh, that like my biggest negative cognition is that I don't matter. And so I literally will chase things that make me feel like I don't matter and try to get them to prove to me that I do matter. When in reality, the only person that can prove that to me is me.
Holy shit.
And so
you're like, damn, yeah.
And I was like, oh, no wonder I was choosing men that were like, literally.
You're like, got it?
Yeah.
Yep, that one for sure.
Yep.
Okay. Oh my gosh, wow.
And I know I'm learning all these lessons in this season because I have to raise a boy.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like,
Yep.
I can control it, but everything that I'm doing right now with him is the stuff that is going to be the way that he treats women.
Oh, yeah.
And the way that he loves and the way that he receives love.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because I've been praying this prayer for like 8 months of, God, just give me, because of course, even though I was healing this experience, back and forth made me very cold and very like shut out and very hard for me to give and receive love. And so I've been praying, God, please get me back to giving and receiving unconditional love. And man, ain't it funny? Ain't it funny? Because we be praying for stuff and we're like thinking it's going to be delivered in the way in which we prayed for it. And all I keep seeing right now is instead of God directly teaching me how to give and receive love.
Yeah.
He's just getting rid of a whole bunch of people in my life. And that's been very, very introspective for me because I'm like, okay, am I the problem? Like, what's wrong with me? And then I'm like, oh, God's like, I can't get you to this place of giving and receiving unconditional love until I remove these people from your life.
Yeah.
And then of course what I attract. I mean, I look back on what I attract and I'm like, whoa.
Total different. And you kind of have to learn that too, because you're like blown. You're like, oh, I get it now. Like I'm doing the work. I'm gonna get people that do the work. I'm gonna get people. Like everybody has to do their work on themselves. Like self-awareness is one of the hardest things to teach people. But I always say,
not measurable.
Yeah. Oh God, no.
It's not measurable. That's why that's my favorite part about this is it's not measurable because we'll do masterminds and trainings and healing and da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And we always try to expose people to this. And it's like, people get upset when there's not.
Where's my return on investment? I can't measure
There
this.
is no ROI. There's no ROI. I'm going to tell you when this is when you get the gratification from healing. Because the best quote I read was in oh my God, Calling in the One of my favorite books I reference all the time. And she said that if you are on a healing journey or a self-discovery journey thinking that there is a result or an outcome or an end, throw it out. You're doing it wrong because the result is literally surrender. That's it. Is that you just learn how to surrender and wherever the journey takes you, it takes you. And it is not.
And you're strong enough to handle everything.
And you just start to flex that muscle. And literally the only times I've ever noticed that I have changed, the only times is not when the thing, because people think I shouldn't be triggered by this anymore because I've done the work. No.
You're triggered.
No,
but you're aware you're
but
triggered.
you're aware. And then like 2 weeks later, you wake up and you're like, oh, the old me would have handled that differently. Like, damn.
Yeah, I would have been in it for like 2 weeks, just crying for days. You're just like, no, now you're like, good.
People be bringing stuff up and I'm
It
like,
triggers me,
you think
but I
I
know
still
how to
care about
handle
that? Because I would have. You know me, but I don't. Like, it's not even in my space or my spirit right now. And that's when you're like, oh, that's what all this was for.
Yes.
That makes sense. Like, that's why. Okay, I got it. They don't wound me the same way. I don't receive or move through the same lens anymore. I'm not projecting or just operating in my pain. Like, it's insane. It's been so worth it.
But of course it's been worth it. I mean, just listening to you gets me hype, right? Like I'm just like, yes, oh my gosh, yes. But it's just great to see. And I always love honest and authentic conversations of just like, yeah, I went through this part. I was stranded for a while, but like, I know I'm not there. So like, how do I identify with myself now? Rich in real life, tons of money. No, that's not what it means. See, everybody does.
Not in the slightest.
No, that's not what I mean. But it's very important for people to see that you're still doing the work.
Oh, all the time.
All the time. And that's what it takes. Like, what do you want to put the work into? On yourself or trying to fix someone else? It's just not going to work.
Every time I invest in myself, when it comes to, because I had someone ask me this one time, they were like, yo, you put so much energy into healing. Like, when does it stop? Like, when are you not broken? Like, it kind of seems like you're like living here. And I'm like, I get it, because I did go like, I'm an all-in person. So I did do a lot of things at once. And it was literally because I was like, get me out of this mental space. I even woke up one time.
I'm an all-in person. So
all in. And there was a time where I knew I wasn't okay. I woke up at the end of 2021 and I was like, I'll never forget sitting in a hotel room with my best friend. We were getting ready for a retreat. We're hosting 11 women. So one, I always put myself on the chopping block because I'm like, if I'm leading other women, I got to have my shit together. And I'm sitting in this hotel room with my business partner, best friend. There's 3 other women in there that we trust immensely. And I just remember like looking down and then looking up and like I could see a mirror across the room. And I was just like, I remember leaning in the chair looking at myself and it came out of my mouth so clearly and I didn't even think the thought. I said, I really do not like who I'm becoming. And my best friend was like, oh shit. And I was like, yeah, this is controlling me and this is not who I am. And I hate even showing up for people like this. And I was like, this shit gotta change. Like, it has to. I can't operate through this lens. And those things happen when we don't let, people always say feel the feelings, but those things happen when we don't process the feelings and understand that the feelings have a life cycle. And if we try to force ourselves out of them or we try to run from them because God knows we don't like to be uncomfortable, and we don't do the work to really just get through them, and sometimes that just means sitting in them, then we literally
the uncomfort,
suppress them where they are and they remain at that level and they live in our body and then they come out in other ways. And so just, I had to be insanely honest with myself. And like, it's still going. It's just, I always tell people I took my foot off the gas. I'm on, like, my healing journey is kind of on autopilot right now. I still prioritize it. It's still important, but I'm not like 80 feet deep where I was like doing it all the time. But I know when I need it now. Like there's certain retreat and workshops and like off-road type retreats that I've done where so cool. I immerse myself for 4 days into certain things. And I'm like, I have to do stuff like that twice a year. I have to get back to me. I did a feminine workshop last weekend and bawled my eyes out. And she was like, no. As soon as I saw her, I started crying. And I know her personally. So she like grabbed me and she was like, what is going on? And I was like, as soon as I saw you, I knew I needed you because I've been too masculine for too long. And I immediately felt the love that I was craving. Like I felt it as soon as I saw you.
So cool. I want to do that. I want to see someone to just start bawling my eyes out. I need that.
That's story of my life.
That's real life. That's story of my life. I just see people and start crying. It's fine. So I'm really excited about this next adventure for you, I'll call it, because how everyone says a season or this or that, but you don't know. This adventure might change in a couple of fucking years, 1 year, who knows? But I think this is great. I love that you were self-aware and that you owned every moment of it. And at one point you were going to close it, but then you're like, wait a second.
There's more.
Yeah, there's more. We're out of this stage. I love that. All of you, it's been 4 years. We're out of this space.
We're done.
Get on the ride. So where can we find you?
Absolutely. So I hang out a lot on Instagram. I say that all the time. Where can people stalk you? Because there will be stalking.
Yeah.
And I'm a stalker. I say that from the life of a stalker. You can stalk me. I'm mostly on Instagram at Jessica Hurley, Hurley _. And then you can check out the podcast on all your favorite platforms. It will also be on YouTube. On YouTube, it's under Jessica Hurley. On all your podcasting platforms, it will be under Rich in Real Life. And then if you are ever interested in starting your own show, really, and I say this in a kind way, doing it the right way, going big, just like mastering your messaging, mastering the message behind your mic, and really building that content library, that authority, that evidence behind your show. You can check out what we do at instapodcast.com. And please, please, please write this one down. January 20th through the 22nd, we will be in St. Pete for it's in Tampa this year. My bad. It's in Tampa West Shore. January 20th through the 22nd, Innovative Income.
Oh my God, thank God. I have an event the weekend before I'm running. So I'm so glad it's not the same weekend. I would have cried.
No, that's okay.
20th to the 22nd?
3 days this year. 3 days.
Awesome.
So we're doing Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And here's the big thing we're doing this year that I'm like so excited to tell everyone about, but we've been called to do this for a long time. This is our 7th event and I knew it was time. Sunday is a co-ed day.
Nice.
Sunday is co-ed. So
I love that. I do that too because I feel like they need to be in the room.
Yep.
If you're going to teach people and just learn how to love each other and nurture each other and support each other, like you got to be in the same room. You can't just talk about it.
And so listen, if you're listening, this event, and I say that boldly from a person that is the co-creator behind it, there's nothing like it. I promise you there's nothing like it. It is the space for you to really innovate your mind, body, soul, spirit, and the way in which you operate and work so that you can effortlessly innovate your income.
I love it.
So
Jessica Hurley, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so glad we finally connected. This has been great. I appreciate you making the trip in your beautiful outfit. And just appreciate you being here. I really do.
Thank you for having me.